I want you to walk me through simplicity. I want you to help me understand what a dividend stock is. Not for my knowledge, but for yours. You know, like help me see how you teach it, because that's going to help you educate your kids and ensure that your legacy is going to go to the next generation and the generation behind them. So we ready to talk about multi-generational dividend legacy plans?
Let's go.
Yeah, can't wait to splice that up.
My kids can't wait either. Life lessons, more life lessons.
All right. So often, you know, we're doing our thing with our clients, and we're going through simplicity. We're figuring out their
Subscribing to the show.
Oh yeah, we're with our clients. Subscribe to the show.
So you can do our thing with us.
We're going through simplicity. We're discovering their shortfall. We're figuring out how to solve it, and we're building dividend portfolios. We normally do. What we hardly ever talk about is the next generation. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in meetings with clients, and they just sit back and it's like, man, I just can't believe my kids are gonna be shocked. You know, when they see that we
Don't
have
tell them.
yeah. And a lot of them might be clients, but they have no idea what mom and dad
speak
has.
for yourself.
Yeah.
I bring in their kids. I don't want them to chop down that apple tree.
But they don't know what mom and dad have.
No, you're true. I'm just kidding.
Who's chopping down trees?
Well, those kids. If you don't educate them.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
I know we are.
Okay.
That's right.
So I can tell Nikki's going to be passionate about this.
I love this topic. I love
Here we
this
go.
topic.
I saw that tongue come out. I'm like, uh-oh, it's like Jordan going up for a dunk. Okay.
Skills.
What we're really going to talk about today is really what happens when, like what happens to your portfolio, you know, when you're not around. Okay. Because you're not just building a nest egg. You're not just building assets. You have something in play that could last for multiple generations after. And our clients can, I mean, it's unbelievable what you're able to do with dividend income. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of talk through that, because I really think if we were to step back, how your kids view your money and how you view your money are probably, there's a big chasm between the two, because you're thinking, look, I'm building an income machine. I've got dividends, I've got K1s, I've got all kinds of stuff, right? I've got all this money that's being generated from my portfolio. And let's just say the portfolio is $1 million, $2 million, whatever. And you're like, I got this, and I'm generating $50, $100, $200,000 a year in dividend income. Your kids are like, look at that money.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at that pile of $2 million. They're not thinking income.
No.
They're thinking cash.
Yeah.
Right.
They're thinking Porsche. They're thinking Ferrari. You know,
One
they're
time
thinking,
hits. How fast can we burn it?
How can I pay my house off? I want to start that new business. I want to quit my job.
Yep.
You know, they're not thinking income legacy. They're thinking asset legacy. And the purpose of today's show is, how do we change that? How do we help our clients understand there's a transition that needs to take place before the transition needs to take place?
That you pass on your wisdom before you
Here we
pass
go.
on your wealth.
Oh, here we go.
Nikki-ism.
Number one, but you gotta do it.
You might want to get out your pad and pen today, because there's probably going to be a few
I was
over
going to
here.
start
Have an extra pen because the ink might run out.
All right. So we've got the expectation gap right out of the gate. You know, you're thinking you're leaving income. They're thinking you're leaving a pile of money.
So often, whenever I'm going through that simplicity process, I'm showing them, I'm like, hey, look, here's the value that you might have as far as legacy. But even cooler than that, look at what you could be leaving as an annual dividend income that, if long as they don't sell this keeps kicking off. Right. So like your kids have this additional income. So like helping them even see the dots that like, oh, this is how you build generational wealth, is because as long as they don't ever tap into like actually selling those shares, this income train keeps going.
Selling a share is okay as long as it's an exchange.
Trading.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say you can't ever sell a stock. That's not what you meant.
Liquidation, yeah.
Right.
You know, full liquidation so we can go buy a car.
Right.
It's
Or
different.
I hear it. I mean, Cal and I were in a meeting a couple months ago. You could hear it, and the guys was all he wanted to do was sell his 401k to pay off his house.
Right.
As soon as he could. And we were like, why? help us understand that. He's like, because I don't want to be in retirement and I still have a house payment. But as we were going through the planning process, he was going to actually be better off because he was so close to paying it off already.
Right.
He only had like 5 years left. So, and there's
And
this,
he had the cash flow.
and he had the cash flow to cover it and some. He was going to cover all of his needs, but he just this mental lock that he had as we were talking to him and his wife, and they were just, it was one of those very interesting
So
conversations.
this brings up, and I'm sure.
Well, I have one point, but I don't know.
Well, this brings up a big point, and we'll see if it's the same thing here. Is when Nikki used her first Nikkiism, passed on your wisdom before your wealth. Your understanding of how you use your money may or may not be passed down to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're always worried about, I got an email the other day from a client who was, kind of hot under the collar that his portfolio was going down. Their portfolio was going down. And first of all, I was like, what? Our portfolio hasn't gone down. And they're looking at the Schwab data the wrong way because they're not the greatest at showing things at times. We just exchanged through emails. We're going to have a conversation. But my instant reaction wasn't, let me solve your fear. It was, I must have miscommunicated the value of him understanding or my client understanding what dividend stocks are. Because fluctuations in the market is like the greatest gift you can get as a dividend investor. It's like going shopping on sale.
Right.
And Monday it was at a premium. You go to buy a pair of pants or a pair of shorts. Right. Monday it was like 10% more expensive. Wednesday it was 5% cheaper than it was in the middle. At the end of the day, like that's what the market does. It's erratic. And as a dividend investor, when you get those quarterly dividends, like you want volatility in the market, especially if you're not spending it all. So my instant reaction or my reaction when I hear a client talk about value, I'm like, there's a disconnect. And that's the client. Like if you, the owner of the asset that's producing revenue, dividend revenue, don't understand it to the degree, how could we ever expect the child, the next generation, understand it? Because if you're misunderstanding what's truly valuable, they'll never understand it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the game of telephone, right? It's like you start passing around, by the time it gets to Nikki, it's completely muddled and they don't understand what's going on.
And you can build, and I'll let you talk in a second, you can build multi-generational wealth that'll last literally forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
here we go.
There's a handful of people out there.
Brace yourselves.
Who they are collecting a pension, basically a lifetime annuity. And if you don't take it as a lump sum, you just take it and turn on that lifetime annuity for the rest of your life. In some cases,
from like a Duke.
Yeah. And if you have it from the government, in a lot of cases, it will have a cost of living adjustment. But for the most part, they stay flat, right? But forget that part for a second, but it's relevant. So if you could think of, instead of getting a lifetime annuity for yourself.
Because what happens when you die, when you're taking a pension?
It dies.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take a lump sum, let's just take this concept, you're creating not only a lifetime payout for yourself, you're creating a legacy payout or a forever payout. And one of the early things that you taught me is if you include that in your estate plans and it's in your will, it's in your estate, and that's dictated, that will last forever. But if you think of it as, so some people will take a lifelong pension, right? They're afraid. If you can think of a lump sum that you invest in dividends and you get educated so you can stay in there, because it's not, you got to understand it, you are creating a pension forever.
For your family.
For your kids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids. And it's incredible. But you can't do it until you understand it because you're scared. You're like, why would I risk something that's going to pay me for the rest of my life? And that's the reason. If you invest in income producing stuff, i.e. dividends, and you build that comfort level, you're getting paid for the rest of your life. And not only are you getting paid, you have a very nice COLA, a cost of living adjustments, because those dividends, whether you put more in or not, they're continuing to grow, right? And the other concept, so does that make sense? It was kind of a little bit more relevant.
No, I need to just explain that.
If you
again.
want me to
Break it down.
explain, okay. So that's the first one. And the other one is I hate, but this is happening, and I don't know for you guys. I have a lot of people, I probably have one or two a week that are calling me that they lost their job. And it's terrible. But some people learn by doing. The best and the worst thing that happened for some of these people is that they lost the role and it took them 3-6 months to go find it. Because here's what we did.
This is where her heart comes in,
Yep.
because you can hear her voice getting ready to
Because,
crack.
you know, listen, you go through things, there's sympathy and there's empathy. For this one, I have empathy. And it's scary. But if you can apply that concept before you get to retirement, so I know I'm going a little off topic, but I am passionate about this one. But it's some people learn by doing. So if before retirement, you need that income stream and you can see the power of dividends and never having to sell, almost like an annuity until you find a job, you've learned that it works. Because otherwise, you said it best.
Trial by fire.
Some clients listen to us. They can regurgitate the definition of a dividend. Yep, income, I know. I trust, you know, Nikki, Cal, Paul, all the people. But, okay, they don't really know. And then you're learning for the first time when you've turned off the spigot. If you've lost your job, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm talking about. We turn on the dividends for your non-qualified account. And now you're living on those dividends until you get your next job. You realize that you never had to sell your shares. They come back. Does this make sense? So I hate that people have gone through it, but you're getting some practice before you get to retirement. So then you're in retirement and you're getting some practice before you teach your kids, but you've got to teach your kids.
Well,
So those are three concepts all in one.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I will put an asterisk on it, though, because there is a difference between receiving income and understanding how the income is being generated. Because I have clients that are in retirement that I still feel their understanding is not as strong as it could be. And on the flip side, I've got other clients that are not retired that are just like, they get it. So there are both sides to that equation. And I just want to make sure we're going to say that. So let's talk, really quick on how to build a legacy that actually lasts. And I think there's two major ingredients. I think first, because we're going to eat what we cook, right?
We're going to eat what we cook.
The first thing that we have to talk about is the wisdom part. Deepening your knowledge of what you're actually doing. That's the first part. The second part is building it, having it. So you have to have something of worth to give away, whether that's your knowledge, stuff, or money, whatever it is, because stuff doesn't have to be money. So and I think the first one, your wisdom, is the most important. I don't surf like social media very often, but if I do, and I'm online, I'm a business guy. So a lot of business stuff pops up. It must be how I'm searching. When it comes to like becoming a success, when you see these like shorts about what's the most important thing you can do is be a success. I mean, 9 out of 10 of them say you have to invest in yourself. They all say that. When it comes to leaving a legacy, if you don't understand why you're investing the way you are, stop everything. Like, that is the number one most important thing. You have to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it. It's not just the what, it's the how and the why.
Right.
So that's the first and most important part of putting this puzzle together is getting your arms around the what, the why, the how of your investment approach, philosophy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is having the portfolio and then transitioning the knowledge. Would you agree? Disagree?
You have to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then you can start passing that along. Teaching it. Yes. Bring
because there's
kids
some
or grandkids, whoever it is.
There's some legality stuff. Like you can put together some trusts. Like you can force the generations behind you to do things, which I think is applicable. I think you should. I have a trust. Like I have multiple trusts in our family. Yeah. Our kids are going to be happy and mad all at the same time. Because they're going to be plenty of income, but they're not going to be able to take the pot.
Yep.
They can just take what the pot. The pot's going to grow an apple tree, and they can pluck apples off the tree, but they can't ever take the pot and the tree away. Okay, there's an aspect of that you can do with legal documents. I think more important than that structure is having a conversation where you're sitting them down. You don't have to give them values. You just say, let me teach you what a dividend stock is. Or if you're incapable or don't want to do that, we'll do it. Like at the end of the day, like teaching the client children about how this works even if they don't become a client. Like some of my best, I feel like meetings have been just true education, nothing coming back to us, just the joy of helping somebody understand the value of strategy. I know you're about to say
Watching
something.
the grandmother and the mother, this was last week, well up while when they see their grandson and their son get it and be motivated to go and start building their apple tree. Because God knows that apple tree is going to be so stinking big. Here's a big grandma. Wait until that little grandson that you just taught. It's that apple tree. Go ahead.
No, we're good. So I think setting the expectation of the transfer is just as valuable. So it's, again, I think sometimes we look at how much money we have and go, it's the money, not what the money generates. Mm-hmm. We have to have an expectation of what you're actually transitioning to your kids.
Well, and helping them get out of the way of themselves, like so that they don't make a poor financial decision.
Yes.
Because, when you get a large sum of money or more than what you're typically seeing, for a lot of clients, that it's a lump sum of cash that they've been living on. So it's usually considerable. And you get that, it's very easy to make some poor decisions quickly, being like, well, that was fine for my parents or my grandparents. They needed that then. I'm still working. I don't need to worry about that. So let's take some of this and do some things. If that's vacations, paying off the house, I've got time to earn it. But man, if you can help them connect the dots of but if you just let this continue to grow and you live.
And not for nothing, and I hate being sad, but this just hit me, so I'm going to say it. I lost my dad. My dad is with me every single day as I'm teaching these young people. He is sitting on my shoulder, and talk about a legacy. There's legacy of money, but there's legacy in the power of continuing to teach your loved ones even when you're gone. And when you instill certain things that become part of what they do every day, every year, that they're teaching their children, and frankly, it's in something as important as their finances, talk about a legacy. I mean, geez, forget the money. Like I'm getting chills, but my dad will forever be with me because of the life lessons and the isms, and being able to pass those on to other people. It's just, it is rewarding, and it feels really good. So I would just echo the fact that it's not only that you're passing on the apple tree and show them to eat, use the apples and not cut down the branches, but truly have them understand it and have the joy of being the one to teach them that, and not just give them the apple tree, but teach them how to. It's really cool.
So
anyway.
if you were to give some advice to a client or somebody after what we've just talked about, are some action steps, what would be the first couple things a client should do to begin planning, multi-generational wealth?
I'd reach out and get that Dividend starter kit.
Yeah.
Pass that along.
Yeah.
No, but for real, it's got a great just base knowledge. It at least will prime the pump a little bit of whet the appetite, since we're talking about food and cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
And
getting hungry.
That's it. And then, can you tell we shoot this before lunch? and then set up a meeting with your advisor, with us, whomever it is. Just start the conversation. No numbers have to be shared, but just start the conversation of the concepts, because they have to understand the concepts before anything else even matters.
I totally agree. Would you guys
And
say anything?
I would piggyback on that, but I would also say, as you go and try to teach, you realize the things that you still want to learn. Because sometimes when you go to teach somebody, you realize, wait a minute, I thought I knew that, but then I went to say it out loud and share it. I know how to apply it because of what they told me. But when I go to try to teach it to somebody else, I still have a lot to learn.
The greatest form of mastery is being able to teach.
Yeah, is being able to teach. But true leadership and, loving others, I believe, is teaching people and educate, engage, and empower them to go and do what you're hoping they'll be able to go do. It helps them be the best financial person they can be.
So just because of what you just said, what did you say about teaching? The biggest form of empowerment is teaching.
Or it's my wife says it because she's in education, but it's the greatest form of mastery is the ability to teach.
So it makes me think when I, after a year or two or more with our clients, I feel like I would love for them to come into my office and walk me through simplicity, or help me understand a dividend.
If they could teach it back, or we have those clients that legitimately have reached out and said, hey, can I have my own simplicity? I want to sit down with my neighbors and start walking them through it. If you can do that, you got this. Like you've
So
got
for those clients out there, like my advice on this, the first step would be call me, like for my clients. And like, I want you to walk me through simplicity. I want you to help me understand what a dividend stock is. Not for my knowledge, but for yours. You know, like help me see how you teach it, because that's going to help you educate your kids and ensure that your legacy is going to go to the next generation and the generation behind them. Because it's not just your kids. Because if you ask your clients, who do you love more? Your kids, your grandkids, they might skip a generation, you know? So
I got a lot of people planning for their grandkids, not their kids. Like we help them out enough.
Right.
Exactly.
That's correct.
So I guess it goes to without being, you know, I think it needs to be said, like you're not just planning to move money to your kids. It would be multi-generational here. And if your kids can't understand what you're teaching, what hope do your grandkids have?
Yep.
Right.
So for me, I want to have more conversations, deeper conversation with my clients specifically about this and have them flip the table.
Yeah, check
All right,
for
you're the
understanding.
advisor right now. You teach me, convince me on why this makes sense.
Well, it's probably this same mindset, this philosophy that we're talking about of why the statistics are so high on small business ownership. They typically don't last to the third generation because you have the person who built it, founded it, the kids have seen it, they maybe are in it, and then by the time that third generation comes through, they either don't want anything to do with it or don't remember what it took to sustain the
Looks
business.
like your little, what did you say earlier? The little
Telephone.
telephone
Game
thing.
of telephone.
Oh, I'm like, what are you doing?
I know.
Is that right here?
She's cleaning her
Nobody
ears
cleaned
over
ears.
I do
here.
need to clean out those ears. I think I interrupted you for a second time earlier, but I did want to.
You're good.
It's that telephone thing. I thought that was awesome.
Any last thoughts?
Shared mind.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I shared
The
my.
only thing I would add is it is just another great opportunity to connect with family, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a great excuse to communicate with your kids, with your grandkids about, hey, this is what we've worked so hard for, and this is how we can continue.
That
that
was like
legacy.
the greatest Nikkiism without Nikkiism.
Without-
Cal the connector.
I know, that would like melted my heart for a minute.
Oh,
Bring
Cal's
out my
heart.
psychology, Dr.
Cal's
Cal.
heart.
Dr. Cal.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go.
Now we got to shut it down.
I'm putting some sign back there that says
We
Dr.
gotta have fun with
Cal.
that one.
That's awesome.
Call
All right.
Cal.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe to the show. And if you have any questions, we love them in the comments.